Before screens ruled playtime, our toys didn't need Wi-Fi, just imagination, batteries, and a complete disregard for personal safety. Today, we're cracking open the old toy chest and unearthing 3 playtime legends that ruled the playground before quietly vanishing into the attic of history. M.U.S.C.L.E, Simon, and the Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle. These weren't just toys, they were personality tests wrapped in plastic and attitude. Before Pokemon, before Funko Pops, before anyone used the word collectible with a straight face, kids had M.U.S.C.L.E, those weird pink rubber wrestlers that somehow became playground currency. They came in tubs and packs, hundreds of them. Squat little figures with bulging muscles, triceps, biceps, demonic faces, and posed down energy that said, "I'm ready to mess up your desk." They were quite plain, honestly. Monochromatic, colored miniatures. These arms and legs didn't move. No one really knew what the rules were, so we invented some. Basically slam one into another until someone's muscle guy flew halfway across the room. If it hit the TV screen, bonus points. Aside from the pet rock, it was the simplest toy ever. All you needed was a love of wrestling and an imagination. What most of us didn't know was that these little dudes came all the way from Japan. Licensed designs of Kinnikuman, an extensive and popular line of collectible erasers. Based on and from a series called Kinnikuman, a wildly popular wrestling comedy manga about alien musclemen battling for intergalactic glory. The line was launched in Japan in 1983 and licensed in 1985 for the American market as M.U.S.C.L.E, reflecting Kinnikuman's English title of Muscle Man. In Japan, Bandai has released 418 different types of figures, and it was mainly sold through Gashapon. I don't speak Japanese, so these might be incorrect pronunciations. As it attracted the Northern American market's interest, it was brought out by Mattel under the name M.U.S.C.L.E, and a total of 236 figures were traded domestically in the 1980s. M.U.S.C.L.E used a harder rubber than Kinnikuman. When Mattel brought them to America in the mid-80s, they rebranded them with an acronym that makes absolutely no sense. Millions of unusual small creatures lurking everywhere, which, to be fair, describes pretty much every kid's toy room in 1986. Each figure smelled vaguely like pencil erasers and burning rubber, the official cologne of mid-80s childhood. At first, they came in a single fleshy pink color that somehow made them look even weirder, like an unfinished art project that escaped from the factory. Later, colors were released in red and blue. The toy line included 236 official figures, a board game, an NES game entitled Tag Team Match M.U.S.C.L.E, a championship belt figure holder, and a wrestling ring playset. We loved it because even though every TV commercial told us there was a game to play, there wasn't. It was pure chaos. No rules, no story, just endless permutations of who would body slam who next. Fun fact, the Kinnikuman figures are still made in Japan today. Meanwhile, our American ones mostly disappeared, probably thriving in vacuum cleaner bags somewhere across the nation. May they rest in dusty peace. Now let's talk about the one toy that didn't test your strength or creativity. It tested your memory and your sanity. Simon. This brightly lit flying saucer was invented in 1978 by Ralph Baer, the same guy who created the first home video game console. True story. He looked at an arcade machine by Atari called Touch Me, yes, that's the real name, and thought this could be better and louder it was. Baer built the prototype using the low-cost Texas Instruments TMS-1000 microcontroller chip, which was in many games of the 70s. Lenny Cope, who was one of Ralph H. Baer's partners, programmed the core of the game, titled Follow Me at the time. The famous tones of the game we all know were inspired by the notes of a bugle. When Ralph and team pitched the demo, an 8x8-inch console, to the Milton Bradley Company, the name of the game was changed to Simon, based off of the childhood game Simon Says. It eventually debuted in 1978 at the retail price of $24.95, equivalent to $123 in 2026. Imagine that, $123 for a board game that sits on a picnic table. For those that don't remember, Simon was a memory game that flashed colored buttons, red, blue, yellow, green, while playing tones that sounded like a robot learning jazz piano. Your job was to repeat the sequence perfectly as it grew longer and faster each round. It started easy, beep, 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 but before long it was full-blown disco anxiety. You'd fumble a button and Simon would hit you with that cruel buzzing sound, the audio equivalent of a teacher sighing at your report card. Simon was more than a toy. It was a psychological experiment disguised as a UFO. It made brothers and sisters turn on each other. It made parents think their kids were geniuses until they weren't. And for a brief, shining era, you could find it sitting under nearly every Christmas tree in America, pulsing like it contained the secrets of the universe, a game that both kids, teens, and adults would play at parties. But let's be honest, Simon prepared us for adult life better than any toy. It taught us to pay attention, to memorize patterns, and to gracefully accept total humiliation in front of friends and family. Finally, let's end with the most dangerous toy of all, allegedly. The one that broke furniture, windows, and occasionally metaphorical bones. The Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle. Back in the 1970s, Evel Knievel was the American daredevil. Back in a time when the word influencer meant a middle-aged man who did very dangerous stunts for likes and free beer. Evel Knievel was the most famous one at the time, and arguably still. He was the show jackass before Johnny Knoxville changed his name. Part motorcycle stuntman, part national lunatic, and the Ideal Toy Company captured that energy in plastic form. Because what do young boys like more than danger? Toy cars, trucks, and motorcycles. The Stunt Cycle came with a white-suited Evel figure, a motorcycle, and a crank-powered launcher that could shoot the bike across the living room like a missile. You'd spin the crank until that thing wailed like a jet engine, then release, and watch in awe as Evel Knievel rocketed forward, hit the ramp, and either soared majestically or face-planted into the carpet. Either way, laughs and victory. Every kid with this toy believed they were a stunt coordinator. You'd launch Evel over pencil boxes, couches, maybe the family dog. Sometimes he made it, sometimes he lost a plastic limb. But every run was glorious, and every boy wanted one. From 1973 to 1977, the Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle sold millions. It was a perfect blend of American optimism and recklessness, which, to be honest, is our cultural brand. Evel himself made a cut from the sales, which makes sense considering he probably earned hazard pay every time a kid imitated him. And let's be real, safety standards were optional back then. This was an era when toy safety meant just don't swallow it. Evel and his toy are the reason we all rode bikes and built homemade makeshift ramps out of plywood and scrap lumber. If dentists love Halloween candy, doctors loved stuntmen convincing young boys to do dangerous things. M.U.S.C.L.E taught us that imagination could turn chaos into community. Simon showed us that technology could humble even the smartest of us. And Evel Knievel reminded us that every crash landing was still fun. That's the thing about toys from that era. They weren't designed to be downloaded or updated. They were meant to be played with, broken, and remembered fondly decades later. So here's to the lost legends of our toy boxes. The weird, the loud, the slightly unsafe, and to the kids we used to be. Kids who had no idea those plastic moments would stick with us forever. Which of these guys did you have? Or destroy in spectacular fashion? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe before I go crank up my Evel Knievel launcher one more time.